Welcome back to Film Flash. Today I'll be explaining an American action thriller film, The Covenant. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. Following the 9/11 attacks, U.S. troops were deployed to Afghanistan in October 2001. Over 50,000 Afghan interpreters were employed under agreements promising special immigration visas and relocation to the U.S., though this collaboration marked them as traitors to the locals and the Taliban. Amid the ongoing war, U.S. Army Special Forces Master Sergeant John Kinley survives a deadly Taliban truck bomb ambush in Lashkargah, losing his interpreter in the attack. Desperate for a replacement, Kinley meets Ahmed based on recommendation, and he was impressed with his intelligence. One day, Kinley and his team embarks on a patrol. They got information that the Taliban are constructing improvised explosive devices in that vicinity, so they set out to find out. The second translator suggests to them to follow an alternative route as their primary path has been washed away by the rain. Kinley grants approval and the team sets off. On their way, Ahmed felt somehow about the trip. It's quiet and a little weird. Since they left a US military base, no one has stopped them so far. Obviously, it doesn't make sense. He asked John to stop the car in case of enemy traps. John didn't believe it at first, but for the sake of safety, he stopped the car to let the soldiers check the surroundings. After a thorough investigation to make sure there's nothing wrong with the surroundings, the soldiers were ready to leave, but they noticed Ahmed was missing. A sound was heard from the bush and John rushed over. He found Ahmed holding a soldier on the ground and pointing a gun to his head, claiming the soldier was a traitor. John ordered him to stop, but Ahmed hesitates. As John reaches for his gun, Ahmed could only let the soldier be for the time being. Then he handed his gun to John. Soon enough, aerial surveillance sent information that John and his team were just few moments away from falling into the Taliban ambush. The second translator confesses that the Taliban has taken his family hostage. John and his team had no choice but to return back to base. Back at the base, John discusses with his superior, Colonel Vokes. He learned that Ahmed volunteered to help the U.S. Armed Forces after the Taliban ruthlessly murdered his son. This discovery gave John a fresh understanding of Ahmed's motivations. However, John warns Ahmed never to defy his commands again. The next morning, John led the team again according to the route planned by Ahmed. They successfully reached the enemy's IED construction base. When they arrived, they quickly controlled the ordinary residents outside the cave. While they were preparing to enter the base to search, one of the men have secretly reported to the headquarters about their presence. John, who knew nothing about this, still followed the plan. Soon, John saw 3 men in the camp and launched the first wave of attack. One of the soldiers was unfortunately shot in the body. Fortunately, he had a bulletproof vest. John pulls out a time bomb and sets its detonation to 3 minutes. He and his teammate sets out to leave the enemy camp when one of his men suddenly got shot. John was able to take the shooter out, and another set of armed men came from behind who also got a taste of the bullets. The sniper observing told John there are a lot of armored vehicles in the distance. Obviously, it's the enemy's reinforcement. A fierce gunfire ensued between the two parties. Facing the enemy's strong firepower reinforcement, John's team suffered heavy losses. At this time, all 18 soldiers in the team were killed. Only John and Ahmed survived. They quickly tried to escape and jumped into a truck. The enemy was not willing to give up and chased them in the desert. John and Ahmed soon crashed the truck. They had no choice but to come down and continue the rest of the journey on foot in the mountains. However, the enemy leader refused to let the two of them go. He ordered a thorough search for them. John and Ahmed continued their escape journey in the mountains, trying so hard to evade the Taliban soldiers and return to their base. At that point, it dawned on them that their radio signal is no longer within range of communication, hence they have no means of contacting their base.
If you have come this far, please don't just watch and pass. Help us grow by liking and subscribing to the channel. Back to the video.
After spending a night in the mountains safely, the Taliban search party relentlessly looked for them and almost caught up in the mountains. John sensed their presence and immediately woke Ahmed. The two decided to slide down the hill. They saw two soldiers in front of them and decided to sneak from behind to quietly eliminate them to avoid notifying the others. Then the two of them continued to proceed with stealth, taking the enemies out quietly, but soon they were found by some enemies on high ground. John had no choice but to shoot the two of them. The gunshot attracted the attention of other searchers and exposed their location. They fled in the direction of their base as they fought their way in the canyon against the enemy on the high ground. Their journey became more tiresome without food and water for 2 days in a row. They later found shelter in an abandoned house in the desert to rest for a while. John decides to check the surrounding to look for possible escape routes, and in the process of checking, the Taliban's caught up with him. He suffered a gunshot in the stomach and leg. One of the men rushed towards him out of frustration to kill him, but his colleague stopped him, as they have received direct orders from their leaders to capture John alive. They hit him in the head with a gun and dragged him towards their truck. While they were getting ready to go, Ahmed shows up and finishes them off. He tends to John's wounds to stabilize him, and then constructs a wooden wagon to carry John. Soon he locates a small village, where he used his remaining cash to get a truck and drove away as far as possible in disguise. But how far can he go? As long as they are in Afghanistan, the Taliban's won't stop looking for them since they are now top priorities. He met some group of hunters and explains his situation to their leader. The leader agrees to help him, but tells him that the armed men are already in town looking for them, and they can only go quietly in the mountains. Ahmed exchanges the truck for medicine and food with a two-wheel wagon. With great difficulty and stress, Ahmed never gave up on John and drags him along the mountain while covering him with a light blanket. He soon reached a small shop and decides to get water for John. As he finished giving him the water and was about to leave, a Taliban patrol arrived. One of the men got suspicious and wants to take a look. Ahmed had no choice but to finish them off. Luckily for him, the US Armed Forces arrived, but they forced Ahmed to the ground and handcuffed him. He told them John is in the wagon, and the soldier was shocked to see John alive. Few days later, John wakes up in the hospital and soon finds himself in his house in California. He later comes to the realization that Ahmed and his families have been forced to live in hiding in Afghanistan while they await the approval of their visa to the US. The Taliban have deemed them betrayals, and they are now highly wanted. John started making efforts to reach out to everyone he knows that can hasten the approval, but all his efforts proved abortive. He becomes very frustrated as everyone keeps giving him one excuse or the other. John feels deeply guilty for not being able to help Ahmed in this situation. He later reaches out to his colleagues, and they advised him that if he wants to save Ahmed as soon as possible, his only option may be to get a private military contractor to extract Ahmed for him. John took a second mortgage on his house to pay the military contractor and sets to leave. He met with his boss, Colonel Vokes, to promise him the visas will be ready before he gets to Afghanistan. Vokes warned him that he is wanted in Afghanistan. His life will be in danger the moment he sets his foot on that land. John told him this is the only way he could attain peace. In Afghanistan, Ahmed and family in hiding received the information that some armed men have discovered their location. They packed the little they could and was soon on the run. They escaped through the back of a truck. On the other hand, John said goodbye to his wife and children and soon reaches the military contractor in Afghanistan under the guise of the name Ron K. However, the leader, Parker, told him there is a change of plan. They have received a new mission to protect a UN ambassador coming to the area, and they may need to postpone John's operation. John refused adamantly, as his priority is to evacuate Ahmed and his family, even if it means going alone. The leader said they can only provide John with some weapons, and when he finds Ahmed, they will come and pick them up. John enters Afghanistan in disguise and soon finds Ahmed's brother. The brother told him because Ahmed was wanted, there is no fixed residence for him. Also, he doesn't know a particular whereabout, but he can only give him a driver that can help him. With the help of the driver, John successfully passed the first checkpoint. But at the second one, A soldier directly pulled the driver out of the car. He forced him to open the trunk and one of them got on the car quickly. They began to search the car and soon they were close to where John was hiding. John saw that he was about to be found and had to take the man out as well as the rest of the patrol. John and the driver quickly disposed their bodies in the river to avoid traces. However, a spy saw them and reported the situation to the headquarters, and they asked him to keep track of them. As they continued their journey, John receives a call from Colonel Vokes that their visas are ready and John sighs in relief. Soon, he found Ahmed in his hiding place and placed a call to the military contractor. He asked for their coordinates and he takes it down and gets ready for the extraction. John walks towards Ahmed in disguise, but didn't meet him directly to avoid suspicion. Ahmed later hears his voice and cooperated too. John informs him extraction is on the way and he should get ready with his family to leave. However, the spy that followed them had already informed the headquarters of their current location. When he sent John's picture to them, they were surprised their most wanted man is within their reach. They sent every single army to the place. Back at the Parker's place, his security expert found out that John Kinley was the man that disguised himself as Ron K. He got up immediately and left everything else. It turns out that he was a great admirer of John, as he already heard about him for long and regrets prioritizing the UN official over him. He told his boys to prepare the Angel of Death, their most equipped aircraft, and get ready to go. Meanwhile, John tries to reach Parker before leaving but was unreachable. They got into the truck and soon the Taliban caught up with them. A fierce chase and gunfight started as John and Ahmed takes on the pursuers. Soon, they got to a tunnel near a bridge. They came down to use the truck to block the road to buy themselves some time. John placed a grenade on the tank which explodes when the Talibans arrived. While some of them are busy trying to remove the truck, the others chase John and Ahmed all over the bridge. A heavy gunfight started as Ahmed and his family retreats towards the other side of the bridge. They killed as many men as possible but soon enough, they ran out of ammunition. The driver also sustained injury while he hides. John and Ahmed looked at each other signaling themselves that they have tried their best and now, they could only watch as the Taliban approached them. To their surprise, the Angel of Death, an AC-130 Apache helicopter emerges from the sky and heavy rain of fire began. It eliminated every single Taliban in sight, proving its name as the real Angel of Death. The film ends with John and Ahmed's family finally evacuated and rescued. Parker apologizes and told John he would have supported his mission if he had known up front it was him. If you enjoyed this video, please endeavor to like, share and subscribe to the channel, that way you will be supporting us. Don't forget to click the bell button so that you'll be notified when a new video drops. Till next time, bye.